Hello my stinky little friends and welcome back to another video. Moosie's gonna join us today. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about hobbies, specifically the hobbies that I feel have helped improve my mental health over the last few years. If you've watched any of my other videos, you probably know that I struggle with PTSD, OCD and anxiety, which makes life quite tough and makes relaxing really difficult. However, over the last 3-ish years, I've really gotten back into hobbies and taking time to focus on myself and what I enjoy. So I wanted to talk to you guys about the 6 hobbies that I feel have most improved my mental health. First on my list are coloring books. I remember about 7 years ago when coloring books first started coming out that were aimed specifically for adults and thinking that it was kind of silly that an adult was going to use a coloring book. I have very much changed my mind and I think that they are a great way to relax and calm down. One of the best parts about coloring books, they are relatively easy to do. You don't really have to think too much about it other than the colors that you're going to be using for the specific parts of the coloring book. In my last career, I was a child forensic interviewer and we actually used coloring books to help the kids calm down, focus on something and just relax around us. And I think that if it's good enough for children to work through their trauma, then it's probably good enough for an adult as well. Another one of my favorite parts about coloring books is that you can get a different coloring book for every season so that it really gives you the warm and fuzzies. I also like that there are a lot of budget-friendly options for coloring books. My personal favorites are the Creative Haven coloring books on Amazon, and you can find a lot of good pens and pencils to use too on there that are budget-friendly. The next hobby that I feel has helped improve my mental health is puzzles. This is kind of in the same lane as coloring books in the way that they help you switch off your brain and calm down and focus. I think that puzzles are also good because you can do them with a friend or a partner, or you can do them by yourself. There's a million different puzzles with a million different difficulties and patterns and everything, so you can always find something that's to your taste. I personally love puzzles with cats on them. That's my big that's what draws me to a puzzle, is that if there's a cute cat and a teacup, I'm in. I've been seeing recently the mystery puzzle packs that I really want to try. You don't actually know what the puzzle looks like, you have to figure it out as you're putting it together. That sounds like it's going to be really difficult and maybe a little bit frustrating, but I would love to try one. The next hobby that I want to talk about is reading / audiobooks. I got back into reading back in 2019. And it was a fantasy series that got me back into reading, and that's really the genre that I've stuck with since then. I think that when my mental health is poor, there is almost nothing better than jumping into a completely different world with different characters that have different problems. I think it's probably more of a distraction away from my own thoughts, but honestly it works, so I'm not going to analyze it too much. I also love audiobooks. If you have Spotify, you actually get 15 hours of free audiobooks a month, and they have a ton of books on there, like new releases, classics, all of that. I'm especially a big fan of audiobooks because you can do other hobbies like coloring books or puzzles while listening to an audiobook, and it really just makes the experience better all around. I also love watching my favorite TV shows while I'm doing puzzles or coloring books. Side note, like shows that I've seen 1,000 times, like Schitt's Creek or Gilmore Girls, I'll put them on in the background while I'm doing a coloring book or a puzzle, and that really helps me relax as well. As far as reading goes, I love both physical books and my Kindle. Depending on how many books you read, I think the Kindle is a really good option because the books are typically far cheaper on the Kindle, and you also aren't cluttering up your house with a ton of books. The way that I buy books usually is I will read it first on my Kindle, and if I love it, and then I'll go get a physical copy to keep on my shelf. And if you're into romantasy, fantasy, that kind of genre, Kindle Unlimited has a lot of really good options. But on saying that, nothing really beats the smell and feel of a physical book. But I will say that if you're a nighttime reader like me, I love to read before bed. The Kindle is the absolute best for that because it's lightweight and obviously you can see the words even when it's dark. The next hobby that I want to talk about is photography. When me and my partner Ryan first got together, I had been talking about getting into photography for years. I was always saying how much I wanted to get into it, how much I really just wanted to like start taking photos. I took a ton of photos on my phone and I wanted a real camera. And he was the one who actually pushed me to buy a camera. He said, just do it. Just spend the money, get a camera, and if you don't like it, you can just sell the camera again and figure it out. But I loved it. From the first time I started using my camera, I absolutely loved it. This is my camera. I went with the Fujifilm X-E3 with the 18-55 lens. As just like a basic amateur photographer, this camera is perfect. It takes great photos. It's small enough to like fit in my baggie, so I don't have to worry about carrying a big camera case or anything. Moose is very relaxed. Photography has genuinely really helped improve my mental health. I really enjoy taking photos out in nature. So first of all, that gets me outside, that gets me into nature. Secondly, photography really helps you look at things from a different perspective, because when you're looking to take photos, you look at everything, the angles of different things, details and everything like that, which really helps you get out of your own head, look around, and even if it's the same walk that you've done a million times, you notice something different every time because you are looking for those details. You're looking for those shadows and light. Anyone who likes taking photos on their phone, I would definitely recommend looking into a camera. Now, they are expensive. I think my camera cost me about $900, but I use it all the time. And it's something that I really genuinely enjoy. Looking at the photos and having those memories is really important to me. There are definitely less expensive options if you are looking to getting into photography. I definitely recommend buying secondhand cameras also. They're really just as good as a brand new camera and they're less expensive. The next hobby that I want to talk about is creating specifically for YouTube. This has been something that I started since I was retired from the military. I needed something that was consistent, something that I could stay consistent with, because I'm currently not healthy enough to get a job, go back into the workforce. So I needed something that would be consistent. I wanted something to be creative, and I wanted a challenge, which it definitely is. Learning how to edit YouTube videos was definitely a learning curve. I personally use DaVinci Resolve, which is a free editing software that you can download. The other editing softwares that I tried to use were much more complicated and time consuming, so I highly recommend DaVinci Resolve if you're looking into getting into creating YouTube videos. It has challenged me in ways that I didn't think it was going to. The actual editing and the filming itself has been challenging, but then also the putting your opinions and your face and everything online can be challenging. And I've had the chance to talk to some great people in my comments and everything like that, and everyone's been super loving and nice, which has been really cool. And if you don't want to get into long form content like YouTube, you can always do shorter videos like TikTok or Instagram Reels, that kind of stuff. There's a niche for everyone, so whatever you're into, just start talking about it. Someone out there is also going to be interested in the same thing as you, I promise. The next hobby that I want to talk about is thrifting. I love thrifting. I made myself a New Year's resolution, I think 2 years ago now, where I'd said I would not buy any new clothes that year. I didn't want to buy anything new. I already had enough clothes. I was an overconsumer. There were clothes that I was giving to Goodwill that still had the tags on them because I never even wore them, which was just ridiculous. And I didn't enjoy that feeling. It made me really stressed that I just couldn't stop shopping for clothes specifically. And so that year I got really into thrifting clothes, because there's the loophole. You see the loophole? Nothing new. But if somebody else has already worn it, it doesn't count. But I got really into thrifting. I found that the clothes that I thrifted are actually more important to me than the clothes that I buy new. I think because it's like you find a special gem. I also really enjoy thrifting home decor. I think that it's really a great way to make your house look unique and homey. Facebook Marketplace and Goodwill were my two main places to go for furniture. I also think that thrifting for furniture is really nice because you get to furnish your home quicker because it costs less money. So overall, thrifting helped my mental health because I worried less about finances, and I also felt like I was doing something good instead of the over-consuming, overspending that I was doing previously. The next hobby that I want to talk about is plants, specifically houseplants, because I feel like they're one of the best places to start. They are in general easier to take care of than outside plants, at least in my experience. Before we moved, I had, I think, like 28 plants, but I had to sell all of them because we couldn't bring them with us, unfortunately. It's actually scientifically proven that if you get your hands dirty in the soil with plants, it improves your mood. It makes you happier. I also think that plants are just gorgeous in a house. They really bring it to life. They're a nice spot of greenery. There's a million different plants with a million different difficulty levels. I've done a couple videos on which plants I personally like, if you'd like to go and check those out. My favorite is actually the Monstera. She's my only plant that I have right now, other than a couple succulents. I was not supposed to get another plant, and then we went to Target and they had this whole line of plants in cute pots, and I couldn't stop myself. They just make me so happy to look at. The other day she got her first fenstration in her leaf, the hole. It's an awful word, I'm sorry. I just felt so much joy seeing that, and seeing that my Monstera plant is growing and healthy. Plants are so good at making you feel good about yourself. Plus, they literally improve the air quality in your house. And that brings me to my last hobby that I want to talk about, which is gaming. There are a million different games with a million different vibes, and I truly believe that there is a game out there for everyone. I personally like the cozier games. I can get a little bit into combat, but that mostly stresses me out, so I stick to like the farming sims and that kind of stuff. My favorite games at the moment are Fields of Mystria, which just came out, and it's a farming sim. It's similar to Stardew Valley, but I would say so far I'm enjoying it more than Stardew Valley. It seems to have taken everything that people asked Stardew Valley to improve upon and created that. It's a great game. I highly recommend it if you are looking for like a cozy, laid-back farming sim. My other favorite game at the moment is Baldur's Gate 3, which I view as a cozy game. That's probably debatable. Because I love fantasy books so much, it's like being able to play through your favorite fantasy book, which is so much fun. I also play it with my friends, which makes it even more fun. They're both really good at gaming, and I am terrible at gaming. To give you some context, the first time we played Baldur's Gate together and got into combat, I murdered my own character, like immediately. It's fun for me to play with them. I'm not sure how much fun they have playing with me. Gaming has helped improve my mental health in the way that it just immerses you completely in a different world. Similar to reading or audiobooks, you just get to be somewhere else for a few hours. Some people might say it's just a distraction, but I think that that's essential in calming the voices in your head. Plus it gives you something to look forward to as well, which is very important when you're struggling. So yeah, that brings me to the end of my list of hobbies that have improved my mental health. If you guys have any hobbies that you really enjoy that you think have improved your mental health, please let me know. And if you'd like to talk about any of these hobbies that I've mentioned, just please leave a comment. I would love to talk about them with you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again soon with another video.